Good afternoon and welcome to All About Animals. My name is Sherry Graditor and I have many guests. I have two human guests and I have some furred guests today. Sandy Wisienewski is the founder of Animal Education and Rescue in Libertyville. Sandy, introduce Beth for me.
This is Beth Penna, and she's one of our volunteers, and she also regularly fosters animals for us.
Okay, and today we're going to talk about rabbits. And obviously we have one bunny on the table, and we have several more hiding behind me. Sandy, when I talked to you, you said that there was a crisis with rabbits right now. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Actually, there is many rabbits right now that are in peril because what happens is we go to investigations. I'm an investigator for our organization, and we just in the last month have been to, I think it's 3 different investigations for rabbits. The first one was in North Chicago, and somebody had over 35 rabbits in their garage that they were using to breed and to eat. And this was in the city limits. That was not acceptable, and they were living in bad conditions. So that was the first case. The second one was in Waukegan, and there was a man actually that had probably about 25 rabbits that he just bred over and over again, and they were eating ground corn, which ground corn is actually a bad thing to feed rabbits. Rabbits need to be fed, well, we'll explain in a little while what they need to be fed, but it was very poor conditions. They were about 6 per cage that was a cage this size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So fortunately, we were able to rescue all the rabbits from those 2 cases, and some went to another rescue, and some we actually took in ourselves.
So there are a lot of rabbits right now needing homes, is what we're trying to say. Okay, what makes a good rabbit home?
Well, the first thing people need to realize is that they're not a dog or a cat. They are very different. They are quiet, they are soft, and they have very unique personalities, but everything they do is a little quieter, definitely quieter than a dog, and definitely quieter than a cat. And the one thing I tell people is you have to know that there's some mess to clean up with a rabbit, and people that don't like to deal with a mess shouldn't have a rabbit, because even keeping their cage clean and so forth every day is essential. Otherwise, it does begin to smell, and it can cause problems. And you also can't teach them, I don't think, you can teach them fetch, you can't teach them to sit, and so forth. But they make a great pet for the right people. They can be great therapy. We take some of our rabbits to the local nursing home to visit the residents because they can be very, very calming to have around. And they do like to play with toys, believe it or not. And they have their own little social network.
They can be litter pan trained, can't they?
Absolutely. So when you ideally, when you have a rabbit, you have them in a cage when they can't be supervised, and they have a litter pan with litter shavings in it. And then at least once a day they should be let out to run around, to be in a penned-in area or a bunny-proofed area of the house.
Is this cage big enough?
This is just a transport cage, so this is not big enough.
Yeah, I don't want people to look at this and get confused.
Yeah, that's a good point. This cage is just for traveling. Normally this bunny is, Beth, would you say this bunny's in, how big is the cage normally?
The cage he usually lives in is about 2 feet by 4 feet.
So it's a good-sized cage that he can move around in. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, and then he also gets exercise time.
Mm-hmm. Bunnies need to stretch, they need to have a place for vertical jumping, and they need to be able to move across the floor.
So they need to get out and play,
yes,
basically. We've got 3 different baggies here. None of them is a controlled substance, I hope.
No, no.
These are bunny substances. What have we got?
Here we have rabbit pellets. Rabbit pellets are something that you give your rabbits every day. And the rabbit pellets you can buy in a pet store. And they are made up of, Beth, do you know what they're made up of? I
do believe it's a large portion of it is alfalfa and buckwheat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's that. And they get about a handful a day of the rabbit pellets. Timothy hay is hugely important when it comes to rabbits, and this should be their main diet for adult rabbits, not babies. But adult rabbits, and Timothy hay just looks like this.
So it looks just like plain old hay.
Just like, yeah, like plain old hay.
And they like to eat that.
Yes, they do.
Now we've got green salad over here.
Yes.
Yes.
They eat what we should eat, I suppose. The adult bunnies love to have their fresh greens, so that's a big part of their diet also.
Bugs Bunny loved carrots. Do other bunnies love carrots?
They prefer the greens, but carrots are a nice treat once in a while.
So they do, but they in other words, other veggies are also good.
Yes.
How about fruit?
Not so much fruit with the rabbits, more vegetables and greens would be their mainstay.
Okay. And that, again, we said was for adult rabbits and not baby bunnies.
Correct.
We have some very little people down here, don't
Yes.
we? That we could bring out on the table.
And while Beth's getting them, oh, there's one. Now, what's this one's name?
This is Billy.
Billy Bunny.
Billy the black bunny.
Billy the black bunny was actually rescued from the home or the garage in North Chicago. He was one of the 35 that were rescued, and he is now living at Beth's house and being handled by Beth's kids, her and her husband, and been introduced to, in a safe way, to the other critters in her house. And he's one of the 3 babies. And how old is he, Beth?
They're approximately
Hello, little
6
guy.
weeks old.
Hello, little guy. Look how cute he is.
And this is Harold. He has a little bit of white.
Harold
on
has
him.
white feeties.
Yes,
he does.
He's the only one of our bunnies with white like that.
And he has white on his face, doesn't he?
Just a little bit.
Just a
white,
teeny little bit.
mustache.
And is it about 3 or 4 months that they're going to be almost full grown, Beth?
I believe about that, about 4 months. They'll be closer to Archie's size there.
And Archie, too, is looking for a home, I'm assuming.
Sure is, and he's very sweet.
And now let me ask you one more question. At what age does the bunny get neutered?
Do you remember?
I think it's 6 months.
Okay.
Archie, you want to come out?
He was a cat.
Archie, come on out.
Oh, Archie found the lettuce.
he found the lettuce. There you go, Archie.
Archie found the
And
lettuce.
then we have one more, right? One more bun.
The reach of it at her.
Okay.
Naturally. The girl has to play hard to get.
Right.
Is that the way it goes? Oh, look how pretty she is.
That's Taylor, and Taylor is a little brown rabbit. And ironically, the brown rabbits, my experience is that they tend to actually be very, very docile and very friendly. A lot of the brown rabbits we've taken to the nursing home to visit the residents, and they just lay
at
in
her.
people's